For every educator out there, there's this one huge challenge we all bump up against. How do we make sure that what we're teaching actually sticks? How do we make sure it leads to real learning? Well, let's dive into that, because the answer might just be way more powerful than you think.
Oh, you know this feeling, right? You've poured your heart and soul into your lessons. You've covered every single chapter. You've checked off every item on the syllabus. But then you see it, that disconnect, that frustrating gap between what you taught and what your students actually learned. It's enough to keep you up at night, wondering, why isn't this working?
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This is the whole problem right here. We've been taking our students on a journey, but we haven't given them a clear destination. We haven't given them a map. And really, if you don't know where you're going, how on earth are you supposed to know when you've gotten there?
So how do we fix it? Simple. We give ourselves, and more importantly, our students, a compass. We start by defining that destination with absolute clarity. And that is exactly where learning outcomes come into play.
Okay, so what are they? A learning outcome isn't about what I'm going to do as a teacher. It's not a to-do list for me. It's a clear, measurable statement about what the student will be able to do. See the shift? It moves the focus from the teacher's actions to the student's actual performance. It's student-centered through and through.
Let's make this super concrete. On the left, you've got teach photosynthesis. That's just an activity, right? It's on the teacher's checklist. But look at the right. Students will be able to explain and illustrate the process of photosynthesis. Bam! That's a clear, observable skill. It's the difference between planning an activity and actually planning for learning.
So why is this one little shift such a big deal? Come on, it's just words, right? No way. This isn't about paperwork or jargon. This simple change in how we think has the power to absolutely revolutionize what happens in our classrooms.
Think about it. When the destination is clear, everybody knows which way to go. The teacher knows exactly what kind of lesson to build, and the student knows exactly what they're aiming for. All of a sudden, learning becomes something you can actually see and measure. And here's the best part. It forces our teaching, our activities, and our tests to all point in the exact same direction. That alignment empowers students to take real ownership of their learning.
And that's really the magic of it, isn't it? We just eliminate the fog. That feeling of what are we even supposed to be doing here? It just vanishes. And in that new, clear space, that's where powerful, lasting learning finally gets a chance to grow.
I think we've all been there. We get so caught up in covering the content, getting through the chapters, spitting out the facts, that we forget to ask the most important question of all. What do I want my students to be able to do with this information at the end of the day?
This quote says everything. It's so true. If our goals are vague, our results are going to be vague. If we can't see or measure the learning that's happening, how can we possibly know if what we're doing is working? How do we know how to get better? Measurability is the key to improvement, period.
All right, so we get the why, it's a game changer. Now for the fun part, the how. And the great news is, there's actually a pretty simple formula for writing fantastic learning outcomes. Let's break it down.
Just think of this like a recipe. You always start with that frame. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to. That puts the focus right where it belongs. Then you drop in a strong, specific action verb. Next, you say what they'll be doing it with. That's your content. And if you want to get fancy, you can add how or how well they need to do it.
So let's see this in action. Here's a great example. Students will be able to analyze the causes of the French Revolution using a concept map. See? We've got our action verb, analyze. We've got our content, the causes of the French Revolution. And we've even got a condition, using a concept map. It's specific, it's measurable, and it sets a super clear target for everybody involved.
So where do you find these magical action verbs? Well, your best friend here is Bloom's taxonomy. This is your toolkit. Instead of using fuzzy words like know or understand, you can pick these precise verbs that target different levels of thinking, from just remembering facts all the way up to creating something totally new.
And that's the real goal, isn't it? We want to take our students on a journey. We start by building that foundation of knowledge, for sure, but our job is to guide them up that ladder, to push them past just memorizing stuff and get them to the point where they are analyzing, evaluating, and even creating.
Okay, so let's bring all this theory down to earth. How do you make this a living, breathing part of your actual day-to-day classroom?
It's a really simple but powerful loop. You start the lesson by telling students the goal. Then, every single thing you do, the activity you plan, the questions you ask, the test you give, it all points directly back to that one outcome. Nothing is random anymore. Everything has a clear purpose.
And this is what it does for our students. It's huge. The second they know exactly what they're trying to achieve, their whole mindset changes. They're not just sitting there passively waiting for information anymore. They are actively working toward a goal that they actually understand.
And really, that's the transformation we're all looking for. We're turning passive listeners into active achievers. They become our partners in their own education, because for the first time, they finally get the point of the whole journey.
So, here's the bottom line. Let's get out of the mindset of just covering the material. Our real job, our true calling, is to create experiences that result in real, tangible, measurable learning. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Being a great teacher isn't about the lectures we give, it's about the learning we make possible. And by using learning outcomes as our compass, we can make sure that every single day, for every single student, learning happens.